Everyone, in this video you are going to learn the basics of the color grading. So this is the part 2 of the color grading in Premiere Pro, and we have already covered the basic panel, basic correction panel and the creative panel in the Premiere Pro Lumetri Colors panel for color grading. If you have not watched those videos, please do watch them first, and the link of those are in the description section below, or just go to my channel and find the playlist basics of color grading and you will find all of these right over there. And now in this video we are going to cover the curves panel and the color wheel and match. All right, so let's open up the curves panel. So this is the curves panel, and over here we have the RGB curves. So we have the first is the master curve, so we can adjust it using any points. So this area is basically going to affect the highlights, and this is for the mid-tone, and this is going to affect the shadows. So we can create multiple points, okay, and we can adjust them by dragging up and down. So we can add more of this and we can take it away from the shadows. All right, so similarly we have the different channels as well. So we have the red channel, green channel and the blue channel. So we can create again multiple points and we can introduce different colors to the image, right? And if you just double click it, that's going to take away those points or clear all the points, right? So let's first see how this one works. So if I create a 1 point over here on the shadow, on the highlights, and one on the mid-tone and one on the shadow, and if I just click on bottom area and drag it up, so you can see that's going to take away black from the image and that's going to create the faded look. And if I drag it back, that's going to add lots of black to the image or add more contrast or contrast to the image. And if I just drag this point and just drag it up, you can see how this is going to affect our clip, okay. And if I drag this point, middle point, and if I drag it up and down, you can see it's going to affect the mid-tone. So we can adjust this way. And if I drag the top point, which is for the highlight, if I drag it up and down, you can see it's going to affect the highlights. So I can take away the highlights or I can add more of the highlights using this. And then if we can even adjust this point, we can add more of the highlights and drag it down to take away the highlights. So you can adjust all of these. And similarly for the red, if I just click on the top and drag it down, so that's going to take away the red from the highlight. If I drag and take it something right over here, that's going to add lots of red in the highlight. And similarly for the shadows, if I want to take away the red from the shadow, just click and drag it down. So the opposite of the red is green, so that's going to introduce the green. And if I drag it up, so that's going to introduce red in the shadows. And if I just double click it, and I can also create multiple points and I can adjust them as well, right? Anyway, okay, so just double click it, that's going to take away everything. And similarly you can do this with red color and blue color as well. And now let's come down to the hue and saturation curve. So this is the hue and saturation curves. These are the options which is available, I think Premiere Pro 2019 also, right? So what first one is the hue versus saturation. So basically here we can adjust the saturation of any hue. Hue means different colors. And if you want to support me to make more and more free stuffs available for you guys, then please consider buying my best seamless transition pack, which has 300 plus seamless transitions and elements for Premiere Pro. These are drag and drop transitions and elements which you can use and take your videos to the next level. Right now you can get it up to 70% off. The download link is in the description section below, or visit my website harshvardhanart.com. So without further ado, let's get started. So if I click on this color picker tool and click on, let's say, this color, so that's going to create some points, and that's going to select this color, and then we can adjust its saturation. So we can just drag it down. You can see when we drag this line, you can see in the bottom this is black and white, and if we drag it up, so this is more saturated. So we can drag it up to add more saturation to that particular color, or we can drag it down to take away the saturation of that color. All right, so that's going to do this one. And if we click anywhere and let's say select this color, so that's going to select the green color. So we can just drag it up to add more of the green, or we can take it away, or we can simply create some points over here like anywhere, and we can adjust that particular color. So we can adjust the saturation of that particular color from top to bottom, top to bottom. All right, and if you just double click it, that's going to clear everything. All right, and then we have the option of hue versus hue. So if you want to change the color or particular color to something else or to a different color, you can do this from here. So if I just select this one and let's say select this color, so this color is now selected. If I drag this up, so you can see now we have the different hues in this line. So if I just drag it to red, just see over here, that's going to add the purple in this. And if I drag it up, so that's going to add this one, and I can drag it down, and that's going to add this color. So over here, as you can see, this one is scattered, so it's not perfect. So we have to expand this to like this area. Okay, and we can expand this color because it has the different hues of this color. So you can see now this one is looking perfect or somewhat perfect. If I uncheck this one, so you can see this was before and this is after. So we have successfully changed the color to this particular area. If I just double click it, that's going to take it back. And then we have the option of hue versus luma. Hue is the different color and luma is the lightness of that color. So if I select any color, let's say this one, so I can drag it up. So you can see this line is now has the black and white on the top, and it's going to make it darker so in the bottom. So we can make any color darker or lighter with the help of hue versus luma. So similarly, you can select the skin tone, we can adjust it up and down. Okay, so that's very useful tool for lightening the skin. Okay, and then we have the option, let me just clear it, then we have the luma versus saturation. So it has the lightness, it affects the lightness of the saturation. Luma versus saturation is basically if you have the highlights and there is some color is introduced in the highlight or in the shadows, then you can adjust that from this curve, luma versus saturation. If I click over here and click one over here and drag this down, and click one over here and drag this down, so now whatever color grading we have done, that's not going to affect the highlights and the shadows. Okay, so if I uncheck it, you can see, so this is how it works. Okay, so this is not of much use, but still it does affect. I think you can notice it after this, the saturation in the highlights and or the color tone in the highlights or the shadows is taken away. Okay, so if I just double click, that's going to make it default. And then we have the final option, saturation versus saturation. So if I click anywhere like this one, and if I increase it up, so that's going to add more of the saturation of that particular, and I can take away. So basically this is somewhat the same tool. And if I click on this color, let's say, that's going to adjust saturation of that particular color as well. All right, so basically most of the time you will use these options, hue versus saturation curves, hue versus hue, and hue versus luma. Okay, so these were the options for the curves panel in the Premiere Pro. And now let's go to the color wheel and match. So if you click on this, over here you have the option of face detection, comparison view. So we have the option of these three wheels, so we can adjust the shadows, midtones and the highlights. So we can just adjust this. Again, we have done the same thing in the creative panel. So if we want to introduce some color in the shadows, we can click anywhere like this yellow. That's going to introduce the yellow in the shadows, red, purple, green, well, yellow, whatever you can introduce. And then we have this slider over here, so we can adjust the saturation, we can make it light, or we can introduce the contrast, or sorry, this introduce the contrast in that particular color. Okay, so we can make it faded look of the shadows and we can drag it down, so that's going to add lots of saturation or contrast in the shadows. Okay, so we can light the shadows or we can make the shadows darker with the help of this slider. And then again we have the option of mid-tone, so we can add the color, this red color, orange color, or any of the color in the mid-tone. And again we can adjust the mid-tone, we can make the mid-tones brighter or darker with the help of this slider. Okay, and then we have the option of highlights, so again we can add any color in the highlight. Okay, so something like this, and we can again make the highlight brighter or darker with the help of this slider. So these were the two panels, curves and the color wheels and match. Alright, so these were the two panels, color wheels match and the curves panel in the Premiere Pro for color grading. So thank you so much. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, hit the like button. If you have any question or if you want to say something, leave that in the comment section below, and please consider sharing this video with others so that I can get motivated and make more and more videos for you guys. And if you have not watched the previous videos, please consider watching those. And if you have not subscribed to this channel, please consider subscribing for more amazing tips, tricks and tutorials. So thank you so much. Bye bye. See you in the next video. Till then, keep shooting and unleash the creative in you. Bye bye. And once again, let me remind you that if you want to support me to make more and more free stuff for you guys, then please consider buying my best seamless transition pack, which has at this moment 300 plus transitions and elements which are very useful, drag and drop transitions and drag and drop elements just like this. This is also a part of best seamless transition pack. At this moment you can get this best seamless transition pack at up to 70% off. So go ahead, download it, support me and consider sharing this video with others, and please like, subscribe and share this video. So thank you so much. Bye bye. See you in the next video. Till then, keep shooting and unleash the creative in you.